Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25.5 of the Dump and Chase podcast. Why 25.5? Well, we recorded episode 25 on Wednesday night under the impression that everything was going to proceed as planned. Over the, overwhelming course of events on Thursday, we had to go back to the drawing board. So this will be take two as far as this week's episode is concerned. My name is Sam Olmstead, and as always, I'm here with Justin Irwin. It's been truly dizzying how the events of Thursday unfolded. I don't know about you, but I'm working on a major headache from the amount of time I've looked at a screen, reading almost nonstop updates today.
Yeah. I forget what time it was the rumor mill started flooding in. We knew this was kind of coming from yesterday, but, it was when you start hearing billet parents for other families going, just got word that our bus has been turned around en route. And,
Yeah.
So you start trying to keep up and figure out, how much of this is going to be true and, basically how much information you really are going to get.
Okay, so to catch everyone up, the USHL announced on Thursday that the current season has been suspended until further notice due to the threat of the rapidly spreading coronavirus. And this has been the trend in the past few days, starting with the NBA and today, which we're, again, recording on Thursday night. The dominoes started just falling left and right. Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, anything having to do with NCAA tournaments, as far as hockey, the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL, North American Hockey League, virtually every Canadian youth and junior league, and even beyond that, in Ohio, for anyone listening who does not reside here, it was announced that all K through 12 schools in the state will be closed starting Monday for at least 3 weeks. I mean, it's just in one day, it's incredible how much has happened. I mean, we understand in the grand scheme of things, hockey falls a distant second to the health and well-being of everyone. We're not doing this episode to educate and inform people on the state of the coronavirus. There are far more smarter people to go to for that kind of information. What we can contribute is the facts, as best as we know them, as far as the current state of the Phantoms. It seems trivial in a way, but the Phantoms are for us, as it is for all of you as well, an escape. It's why we invest our time in the team. It's why we buy jerseys, show up to games and scream our heads off. And it's why we do podcasts about the team.
Yeah, and we really just kind of want to make sure that somebody is staying ahead of the story, following on social media some of what's been going on. Maybe not so much with the Phantoms, one or two people, but some of the rest of the league, some of the reaction has been very disheartening, is the term I guess I'll use for right now. Children might be listening, but you're dealing the amateur players. They're not being compensated. Many of them are minors, a lot of, foreign players. So, we'd want to err on the side of caution. And, especially, a developmental league, if you have scouts coming in, somebody picks up a bug and then, goes up to Detroit for a CompuWare youth game and, then you're spreading it around a locker room there. It's just best to err on the side of caution. And here we are.
Yeah. There's a lot of times on this show, and quite frankly, anybody in general who kind of hangs around this world or exists in this world, we like to take shots at the USHL. Sometimes we feel it's deserved. Sometimes we do it just because it's fun. I think in this case, they absolutely got this right. As much as it sucks for the teams, as much as it sucks for the fans, this was absolutely the right thing to do. And, definitely they were on top of this before a lot of other, professional leagues were.
Yeah. I think actually before even the Canadian major juniors canceled theirs. But yeah, when you see the NCAA starting to shut down, I think that was a big checkbox for them. Obviously, the NHL, where they went, everyone was going to follow in hockey. And yeah, again, you don't want to take that kind of risk, especially with players who are doing this to developmentally. It's a sad thing, that we're here kind of in limbo. But if it starts going around locker rooms, and even if these are healthy young kids who are going to recover, it's not going to be, it's going to be really bad. So, uh, anyway, again, here we are.
So, to let the cat out of the bag, we were supposed to interview Andrew Goldman this Saturday night before the game. That interview was going to be a surprise for our first anniversary episode at the end of this month. After the events of this morning, we were all but certain that would not happen. I reached out to Andrew, and surprisingly and unsurprisingly at the same time, he offered to do an interview over the phone to talk about what's going on. Like this episode, this is not the interview we planned, but myself and Justin, as well as Andrew, felt it was important to get the facts out as we know them to be right now.
And to let people know what we don't know. And at that point, that's a lot.
So here now is our interview with Phantoms team president Andrew Goldman. Okay, so we are now joined by Phantoms team president Andrew Goldman. Now, Andrew, unfortunately, this was not the interview we had planned for Saturday, and we'll try not to keep you too long. I can imagine this whole week has been one giant ball of stress. So, how are you doing? How is the office staff doing? How is the team doing?
Sam, thank you. It's been, first of all, it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and you can keep me as long as you would like. It has been, a stressful week for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the world is watching the coronavirus, and we, the USHL, we, the Youngstown Phantoms, care dearly about the hockey, but first and foremost, our responsibility is to the young men whose families put their trust in us to do what's right for them. So it has very much been a week talking to anybody and everybody that we can to make the best determination for everybody's well-being, players, coaches, front office, and of course the fans as well. So I think we're doing better today, honestly, than I have at any other point during the week. As disappointed as I am with the decision from a hockey perspective, I feel really good about the sort of moral compass and moral position that the league took, and putting everybody's best interest ahead of their own.
And at this point, it's probably good just to have some of the ambiguity of earlier in the week out of the way, knowing, going forward, this is what we're dealing with.
For sure. There were a lot of different entities in play here. We have a fantastic relationship with the building. So first and foremost, we were working, lockstep with our friends at JAC to make sure that the Cavelli Center was doing everything possible to keep the building clean, which they were. They put together some incredibly proactive steps. They had doubled their housekeeping staff. They had limited access to different points of the building, and were really going above and beyond to do what they could to create a safe environment given the conditions that we were all living in. And then those conversations quickly shifted to what the state of Ohio was doing. And Governor DeWine had a press conference yesterday and the day before, where he expressed his concern about large gatherings of people and the potential for the disease to spread. And then today, obviously, we, the Board of Governors of the USHL, met and decided that the best course of action was to suspend games indefinitely at the moment, and to see what happens, and not only to suspend games, but to keep our players out of the locker room, off the ice, out of team meetings, and to really try to create an atmosphere where we keep the boys safe.
So, is there any hope at this point that the season could resume in April, or is it just still too early to tell?
It is certainly too early to tell, but what I can tell you with absolute certainty is the season has not been canceled. So, is there any hope? There is.
So, with all team activities suspended for right now, will the players be staying in Youngstown?
That's really an individual decision. You know, we have some players that will absolutely head home and honestly are already on their way home, and we have some who can't. Right? The U.S. has limited international travel to a great extent, and so we certainly have players that cannot go home, and therefore certainly our commitment to them is that whatever we need to do to keep them safe and housed and fed and all of those good things, we will do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, obviously they could go home, but then they would not be able to get back, and yeah, that
Correct.
seems to be a problem. So, any special help going out to billet parents? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's a somewhat premature question, but one we're certainly dealing with. To get obviously today has been a whirlwind, Justin. It's been I joked with somebody earlier. Thank God this is not the days where you pay for minutes on your cellular plan, or I would be in big trouble. So we're gonna digest everything that we now have in front of us, and certainly we're gonna make sure that that our billet families get all the support they need.
As far as known right now, if the league is to resume this season, has anything been said as far as making up games or extending the season out?
All of that is on the table. Nothing has been determined beyond everything will be on the table once we see where this goes.
Yeah, it's those kind of questions. We want to get it out there. Just in today's world, once two people hear an opinion, it somehow becomes a fact. So it's just even if there is no answer right now, we think that's better than everybody just kind of making up their own answers.
Any time frame on maybe when we're going, the next time the league is going to convene a meeting, or is this just a day-to-day, we'll get back to you?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you guys have seen outside of the hockey world, every day the landscape changes in ways that I don't think any of us would have believed a day or two earlier. So there is no time frame other than, yes, absolutely. The executive committee of the USHL is meeting and discussing this daily. And I fully expect that the Board of Governors will have conversations as a whole, multiple times next week to understand which direction this thing is heading. Obviously, we all hope that 2 days, 3 days, a week from now, we have information that says that this thing is being contained. But there's no way to know that right now.
Okay, so the team announced earlier today that tickets purchased for games this weekend could be exchanged starting next Wednesday for tickets either later this season or next season. Now, the question has been asked, and not by us, I want to make that clear, but the question has been asked that what will happen with season ticket holders if scheduled home games are missed and not made up?
Yeah, so it's a work in progress right now, Sam. I honestly don't have a specific answer. I have been in touch with several other USHL teams. I think we want to come not necessarily to a unified decision in terms of how we handle it, but I'd like to understand what everybody's doing. At a minimum, Sam, we will certainly give a credit towards next year for games that are missed.
Okay, so no like Zamboni rides or anything like that?
You can have a Zamboni ride anytime you want.
I don't think I want to be on that much display, but
I'll give you a Dunkin' gift card too if you ride the Dunkin' Zamboni.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. Hopefully by the end of this season. Justin, do you have anything else?
No, not really. I think he covered about half of what we were going to ask without us asking it.
Yeah, that's efficiency right there.
There you go. I mean, the one thing I would add to all this, honestly, with in the grand scheme of things, unimportant, but important from my perspective, just related to this season and the Youngstown Phantoms. I am so appreciative and so excited. The number of fans we've had in the building this year, by the energy in the building, and I really feel like we have taken a big step forward in the Valley and sort of, what a Youngstown Phantoms game means. So, this weekend was poised probably to be our best weekend in the 2 years that I've been in Youngstown. So obviously I'm disappointed that we didn't get to experience that. But, a big thank you and a clap of my hands to everybody who came out and supported us this year. And I very much hope we'll have an opportunity to get back on the ice and to experience more of it.
Okay, so we've been talking to Phantoms team president Andrew Goldman. From start to finish, this has been a crazy day. In the grand scheme of things, hockey is minor compared to the health and well-being of everyone involved. But for a lot of us, the Phantoms are a passion, and for everyone in the organization, it's a way of life. We can't begin to imagine what the past few days have been like for you, but on behalf of us and Phantoms fans everywhere, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk with us and adding a little clarity to what has been a very rough and confusing day.
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure, Sam. Thank you for that passion, by the way. It's awesome. And I've said this to you before. I don't only want to hear the good. I want to hear the bad, and it's my job to try to address those concerns when they exist, and to keep you guys as informed as I can.
Yeah, hopefully before the season is out, hopefully we can, in a healthy way get back to the season and be able to do the interview with you we were hoping to do this weekend before the season's out.
Nothing would make me happier than for us to be in that position. So, we can raise a Penguin City beer and celebrate the guys' return to the ice, I hope, at some point this season.
Nice product placement. Good job there.
There you go.
I'll make sure to have a designated driver for that one.
Zamboni driver will give you a ride home.
You can get arrested for drunk driving a Zamboni. I've heard of it happening twice.
I said the Zamboni driver. I didn't say you would drive the Zamboni home. Only safe Zamboni. Come on now, Justin.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Guys, thank you.
I don't think a lot of fans truly appreciate what Andrew means to this team and to all of us for that matter. As far as we know right now, no other USHL team officials have given interviews as far as what is going on, other than just blanket statements on their websites and social media. But we have Andrew, who is willing to go on a fan podcast and answer, these questions to help all of us. And if you want to be one of those people that say we're just saying this to suck up, honestly, we don't care.
Again, let's go revisit episode 12.
Yeah, so as far as what the immediate future holds for the podcast, we don't know. Obviously, there are no upcoming games to talk about, no looking back at whether the team strategy the previous week worked out. We're going to throw some ideas around, maybe new interviews. At this point, honestly, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know what's really going to be going on. it's going to be probably, maybe we'll drop little bits here and there, or I don't know, maybe we can come up with something. I guess I'll be able to give everybody a good update on how I'm catching up on my Netflix queue.
And how much I'm catching up on my needlepoint. Okay, all joking aside, our last bit of news for this episode, unfortunately, is not any happier than what we've gone over so far. We were unaware of this news until we were told by Andrew before the tape started rolling on the interview with him. Sadly, this past Monday, team trainer Ted Rendinell passed away. To say this was a shock to us would be an understatement. As you know, we interviewed Ted about a month ago. Our 30-plus minute interview with him, really showed his passion for what he did, his passion for the team. What you didn't hear was the 20 minutes or so we talked before the interview and the 30 or so minutes we spoke after the interview. He was incredibly candid. It was just an absolute honor to get to speak with him. He was a valued, longtime member of the Phantoms family, and it goes without saying that he will be missed. So, on behalf of Justin and myself, our thoughts are with his family and friends, and with the Phantoms, who he considered an extended part of his family.
Yeah. He really had a passion for working in athletics, and especially with youth. And so, it was just a natural fit for him in the Phantoms, I think. And just a wonderfully open person. And it really kind of threw us for a loop. So, we don't have much more information other than, an obituary. So unfortunately, we can't really pass much more along other than our condolences to his family. Another really horrible thing for today. So hopefully we've got all that out of the way.
As many gut punches as we felt like we've taken today, just as fans, that one, that's how we top the day off. Just not a great day overall. Hopefully, there's better days to come. There's a lot of confusion in the world right now. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of anxiety. Hopefully at some point we get to better days. Not just as hockey fans, just as human beings. I think we're reaching the point we may be due for that. But yeah, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for taking a few minutes to spend with us. Honestly, we could never be able to put into words how much that means to us. Keep up with the news. It's changing and evolving every minute. Use common sense and take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Hopefully sooner than later, we'll get to talk with all of you again. But once again, thank you for listening.
And if anybody has any questions, anything they want to let us know, just want to, offer a positive or constructive comment to us, drop us a line, social media, direct message, email. We really kind of want to hear from you guys in this odd time we're going through. Let us know how you guys are doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're both on Twitter. We're both very active on Twitter. If you want to drop a comment, if you want to drop a comment, but you don't want your, name to be attached to it publicly, you have the DMs you can reach us through. But yeah, just, plain and simple, just, take care of yourselves.
Wash your hands, people.
Wash your hands.